The fifth process of the build, acquire and implement domain, called Manage Organizational Change Enablement, has 7 practices. The fourth practice is to empower role players and identify short-term wins. The entities that are responsible for this practice include the Chief Operating Officer, the Head of Human Resources, and the Chief Information Officer. The entity that is held accountable is the business executives. The practice receives one input, which is the enterprise organizational structure, from external sources. It generates 3 outputs, which are the aligned HR performance objectives to be used by the AP07 process, the identified quick wins to be used by the BAI1 process, and the communications of benefits to be used by the BAI1 process. The activities involved in this practice include identifying the required organizational structure and ensuring that the staff receives the appropriate training to develop the adequate skills. The HR processes should be aligned to support the change enablement vision. The leaders of the team should be assigned, and quick wins opportunities should be identified and prioritized. The benefits of these wins should be communicated to show that the project and the vision are on track. The fifth practice is to enable operation and use. The entities that are responsible include the business process owners, the project management office, and several IT heads and managers. The entity that is held accountable is the business executives. The practice receives 2 inputs, which are the documented solution components, and the updated solution components and documentation, both from the BAI3 process. It generates 2 outputs, which are the operation and use plan, and the success measures and results, both to be used by several other processes. The activities involved in this practice include developing an operations plan that builds on the quick wins, addresses the transition issues, and increases the engagement. The plan should also cover all the aspects of training, knowledge transfer, documentation, and ongoing support. The operations plan should be implemented, and its success should be measured, including how the change is being perceived. The sixth practice is to embed new approaches. The entities that are responsible include the Chief Executive Officer, the Chief Operating Officer, and several IT heads and managers. The practice receives no inputs, but generates 3 outputs, which are the compliance audit results to be used by the MEA2 and 3 processes, the awareness communications to be used internally, and the HR performance review results to be used by the AP07 process. The activities involved in this practice include using performance measurement system and recognizing achievements. Corrective actions should be taken when needed, and process owners should be made accountable for their respective operations. Compliance audits should be conducted, and ongoing awareness of the change should be ensured. The 7th and last practice is to sustain changes. The entities that are responsible include the board, the Chief Executive Officer, and the Chief Information Officer. The entity that is held accountable is the business executives. The practice receives no inputs, but generates 3 outputs, which are knowledge transfer plans to be used by the BAI8 process, the communications of management's commitment to be used internally, and the reviews of operational use to be used by the MEA2 process. The activities involved in this practice include providing training and knowledge transfer to the new staff. The change should be sustained by ensuring top management commitment. Periodic reviews of the operation and the change should be performed, and lessons learned from the change implementation should be captured.